First of all, before we explore how the Apple ecosystem is one of the company's most valuable assets and frequently the driving force in both attracting and maintaining its customers, it is important to gain an understanding on what the most common definition for the ecosystem is. When searching for a definition for the Apple ecosystem, the first definition states that the ecosystem, is something that draws in consumers in to purchase more products to work simultaneously. It all begins with the iPhone. You purchase your brand new iPhone. Suddenly you have an iPad, a Mac, an Apple TV, an Apple Watch, AirPods, and most recently, a HomePod. Although this definition widely matches how I feel about the concept, I also think it's important to highlight the impact that the connection between products has. By the connection, I mean the way that they interact with each other. They just work. When I think of the Apple ecosystem, the first word that comes to mind is simplicity. There is just the right amount of everything throughout their product lines. Yes, Apple devices are expensive. However, it doesn't matter what device you have the connection from, an iPhone 11 Pro Max to your iMac Pro. It is the same as it would be from an iPod Touch to a Mac Mini. For my personal use, there are several areas of the ecosystem that make it almost impossible for me to use any other brand when it comes to technology. These are AirDrop, Apple Music, iCloud Keychain, and all of the features that iCloud comes with. AirDrop is vital for me. There is no other company that can provide the instant sharing of files and photos between my devices. I could use Dropbox or save my files in Google Drive, but it's impossible to keep a track of the number of times AirDrop has made what I'm doing so much quicker, allowing me to put my time into things that matter, like the work that I'm completing. For me and the people I know, it's just something that we do. Instead of saying, I'll send it to you, we say, I'll AirDrop it to you, saving us both time and potentially money that would have been spent through data in an email or using up valuable texts. Apple Music is great, but in many ways, Spotify could give an identical experience, allowing me to play all the music that I want to. With the Apple ecosystem, however, I am able to have access to my music on all devices in my home for my watch, my phone, my TV, my smart speaker, and my computer. This experience is of course available through other means, but the fact that I don't have to log in with music streaming accounts on each device makes things so much easier that I don't have to tell my Apple Watch what music to download, it just does it. So that when I go out for a run or a workout, I don't have to think about the data that my music is draining. One of the main features of the Apple Watch is that you don't have to take your phone everywhere to listen to music or exercise. Without Apple Music, this would be taken away. Furthermore, I can instantly control what music is playing everywhere in my house using my wrist. The simplicity of connecting to your HomePod speakers to the Apple TV for a cinema-like experience and then as quickly back to playing music at a party is seamless. iCloud Keychain allows me to throw away that old book with all the passwords in it. It lets me be more secure, not using the same password for everything. Once you've logged in once on any Apple device, your password is saved. You can then log into any of the accounts on any device using either facial recognition or your thumbprint, so much more secure than using the same password or having to use the forget the password feature every time. Similar services are available, for example LastPass officers, but you have to remember a master password and install the app or extension on every device that you use, wasting valuable time. In addition, I use the calendar, reminders and notes app every day to keep a track of the things that I'm doing. You can easily plan for something when out on a bus and then use your notes later on a MacBook or an iPad. You can add calendar events directly from your emails, then see the event on your Apple Watch when it comes to the time of the event. The same with reminders. Need to remind yourself? Tell Siri on your watch and be reminded later on your MacBook. As with most things, these features are available elsewhere, but this takes time to set up. You may be able to get calendar events on your Android smartwatch, but you won't be able to access the benefits of Apple Music or AirDrop. If you're able to set up a similar system to the one that comes with any Apple product, it is unlikely to be anywhere near as reliable. An example that I believe proves the importance of the system is that with Apple you can carry out your web searches through several devices. However, with Android, you are asked which web browser you want to use when trying to access the web. I recently purchased the HomePod, thinking it would be the same as my previous Echo Dot. Of course, the audio experience is no comparison, but I mean the setup process. With the Echo, I spent ages setting up an Amazon account. Then when the Echo was finally operational, I had to link a Spotify account and all of the smart home devices that I own. HomePod, plug it into the wall, say "Hey Siri" whilst doing the drying up or anything you need to do, connect using iPhone, done. This process is the same for all products once you've had them. You never have to configure a device again. Every Apple device is connected through your own iCloud. When you open your Mac, it doesn't require a password because it must be you. After all, you're wearing your Apple Watch. The Apple Watch doesn't even require a password because, of course, you've opened your iPhone with your face. A common metaphor for the system is a walled garden, being significantly used by MKBHD in his video addressing the Apple ecosystem. This metaphor explains the idea that it's so difficult to leave the system as you replace your iPod, have to replace all products, these being the Apple Watch and HomePod. These ones would be practically useless without the ownership of an iPhone. In addition, people argue that what's outside of the garden provides a better experience with that new 100x zoom that you're never going to use. Personally, I believe it to be much more likely that you'll want to airdrop a friend several photos than take a 100x photo that doesn't look anywhere near as good as it does in the adverts. Of course, Apple products do keep up with the competition, with features often surpassing the competition. Their CPUs year over year crushing the Snapdragon chips, thus allowing devices to get software updates for years longer. That's another video though. Having attempted to use other devices, this point became increasingly relevant for me when using a PC. Constantly wanting to reply to messages that you feel have come through on your Apple Watch, forgetting your password to your Fitbit account and losing access to it, constantly having to play around with Bluetooth settings to get a pair of headphones to work, wondering why I didn't just buy a pair of AirPods. For many, it is what iPhone shall I get next, and this is because of the easy setup and the way they interact with all the products. This is the Apple ecosystem. As famously said by Steve Jobs, it just works.